Today, I'm going to be reading for you something from a D&D campaign, a fairly old one. It's called The Curse of Strahd. I will be reading the Tome of Strahd, one of my favorite pieces of work from any D&D campaign. I hope you enjoy. I am the ancient. I am the land. My beginnings are lost in the darkness of the past. I was the warrior. I was good and just. I thundered across the land like the wrath of a just god. But the war years and the killing years wore down my soul as the wind wears stone into sand. All the goodness slipped from my life. I found my youth and strength gone. All I had left was death. My army settled in the valley of Barovia and took power over the people in the name of a just god, but with none of God's grace or justice. I called for my family, long unseated from their ancient thrones, and brought them here to settle in the castle Ravenloft. They came with a younger brother of mine, Sergei. He was handsome and youthful. I hated him for both. From the families of the valley, one spirit shone above all others, a rare beauty, who is called perfection, joy, and treasure. Her name was Tatiana, and I longed for her to be mine. I loved her with all my heart. I loved her for her youth. I loved her for her joy, but she spurned me. Old One was my name to her, elder and brother also. Her heart went to Sergei. They were betrothed. The date was set. With words she called me brother, but when I looked into her eyes, they reflected another name, death. It was the death of the aged that she saw in me. She loved her youth and enjoyed it, but I had squandered mine. The death she saw in me turned her from me, and so I came to hate death. My death. My hate is very strong. I would not be called death so soon. I made a pact with Vol, a pact with blood. On the day of the wedding, I killed Sergei, my brother. My pact was sealed with his blood. I found Tatiana weeping in the garden east of the chapel. She fled from me. She would not let me explain, and a great anger swelled within me. She had to understand the pact I made for her. I pursued her. Finally, in despair, she flung herself from the walls of Ravenloft, and I watched everything I have ever wanted fall from my grasp. It was 1,000 feet through the mist. No trace of her was ever found, not even I know her final fate. Arrows from the castle guards pierced me to my soul, but I did not die, nor did I live. I became undead forever. I had studied much since then. Vampire is my new name. I lust for life and youth, and I curse the living that took it from me. Even the sun is against me now. It is sun and light I fear the most, but little else could harm me now. Even a stake through my heart does not kill me, though it holds me from movement. But the sword, that cursed sword Sergei brought, I must dispose of that awful tool. I fear and hate it as much as the sun. I have learned much too about this land of Barovia. Ancient are its ways, ancient beyond the knowledge of simple folk of the valley. And ancient saints dwelt in this valley long before my coming, and 3 hidden fanes still give tribute to their memories. I visited the swamp fane, the forest fane, and the mountain fane, and claimed their power for my own. Their servants now serve me, and thus I became the land. I have often hunted for Tatiana. I have even felt her within my grasp. But she escapes me. She taunts me. She taunts me. What will it take to bend her love to me? I now reside far below Castle Ravenloft. I here among the dead sleep beneath the very stones of this hollow castle of despair. I shall seal shut the walls of the stairs, that none may disturb me. Vul is called in her last favor of our bargain. I am to bring King Koz to Castle Ravenloft, as she also has dealings with him. The transformation to vampire was not a smooth one for King. Vul triggered his bloodlust, and he slew his wife and half of his return. One wonders how he rule in this state, but wool, how bound us both with to their heart. The war has proven to be an interesting distraction. It has been a long time since my death and rebirth, that I have felt anything but anguish for my loss of Tatiana. But my pride in my troops and our victories on the field has elevated my heart to fight, touching of the honor of Carlos. King Claus is known as King Claus the First. He is refaced as the new king. He doubled King Claus the Third. The last entry dated 2 years ago. Betrayal. Claus must lie in the rotten filth in his coffin. How could that bastard surrender? How does he realize what happened to Gav could happen to us?